Hello. Today I'm going to talk about the Germany gold repatriation that happened last year. Apparently, after only repatriating 32 tons in 2013, it was reported that Germany repatriated 120 tons, 85 of which came from the New York Feds of their gold held overseas outside the country with the Bank of England, the Bank of France, and the U.S. Federal Reserve. I believe, off the top of my head, those are the three central banks that hold their foreign reserves. I know the U.S. Fed reserves originally held about, I believe somewhere is north of 1,500 tons. I think it was 1,527.2. Again, memory might not serve me correct because I'm just pulling that number out of my memory. But I think that was the exact figure. And so they repatriated 5 tons from the Feds in 2013 and apparently 85 last year. So even at 90 tons out of that north of 1,500 tons figure, that is less than 6%. So even at that rate of repatriation, it's still going to take a long time for the Germans to get all their gold back from the U.S. Now, the interesting thing about that is that we can check at the end of this month, at the end of January, to see if those figures really add up, because the Fed releases certain figures of its gold reserves, and apparently of the 85 withdrawn for the year, it meant like 45 had to be withdrawn in the month of December. So if those numbers don't add up, then something's going to be fishy. As it is already, there's some fishy things going on about that gold that was repatriated to Germany. Because of those 85 tons, they said 50 tons of those gold bars were melted down and refabricated. So why not just give Germany back their original gold bars if you have them? Why is the gold being returned in a refabricated form? Which again raises lots of questions. Does the U.S. even have Germany's gold, or are they basically taking the spoils of other interventions, like whether it's through the spoils of war in Libya, where all the gold disappeared, in Ukraine, where I think the central banker said 98% of their gold was gone? Are they giving are the U.S. central bankers taking this gold and melting it down and returning it to Germany, or did they perhaps take it from, I believe it was Peru, that actually had to sell some gold to Goldman Sachs to raise money because their economy is struggling? Is this Peru's gold? Whose gold is it? Because obviously it's not Germany's gold they're returning to Germany, because if they had the original gold bars, they just return them. So, that raises some eyebrows. The other thing that raised some eyebrows is the fact that the Netherlands, or Holland as it's also known, it was reported in both Bloomberg and Reuters that they had actually bought 10 tons of gold recently, but then Bloomberg retracted that because they said the Dutch central bankers called them up and said, no, that's not true. The amount of gold we have is still the same. It's been the same number for the past 7 years. Now, would I be surprised if the Dutch central bankers were lying about this and they actually did buy gold and they slipped and then they wanted to retract that statement so the rest of the world doesn't know? Of course not, because that's what central bankers do. They lie. So I'd actually be surprised if the Dutch central bankers were not lying, because this is a game of poker. These currency wars we're engaged in is a game of poker. And of course, if you've ever played poker, you know you do not show your hand to the other players, even though the best players in the world said they don't even need to know your hands. They just basically play your facial reactions and your body language to know whether to fold or whether to ante up. So it's interesting because, obviously people that follow gold know that the Chinese central bankers, the People's, PBOC, People's Bank of China, everyone knows they're lying about the number of the gold reserves, because that's been steady since the last time they updated, but everyone knows they're importing tons and tons of gold from through Hong Kong, and we don't even know what the numbers that they're importing from the Swiss refiners are. So, and I would also imagine no one really talks about Russia fabricating their numbers, but I'm sure Russia is probably underestimating their numbers as well as far as what they're reporting. So it's a big game right now that's going on, and I would not trust any of these numbers as being the word for what's really going on today. And until we see the next financial earthquakes, we really will have no idea what those numbers are. But I think I think my opinion is that the West is over-reporting numbers, pretending to have more physical gold than they have, and then a lot of the East and Pacific Rim countries are under-reporting their numbers deliberately. So it's very, very interesting how this is playing out. Now, I'm going to make the next video I'm going to make. I'm going to talk about the problems people have, why so many people are still being fooled with this economic recovery meme and this rubbish and this garbage, because a lot of people just look at, hey, what's legal? This is okay if it's legal, and if it's illegal, then oh, you should go to jail. But they don't understand how the justice system has been corrupted today, where basically since the criminals rule in all countries, that they have legalized a lot of criminal behavior. So I'm going to give you in the next video a link, a way to get a link to get a free excerpt from my book, The Golden Gift, that should help people flesh out what is wrong with the financial global system today and why it needs to be overhauled, and why if you are just planning on the central planners, the central bankers, and your politicians making everything okay, then that is not a plan and may devastate you financially, economically for decades. So that I feel it's so important. I'm going to make this excerpt available for free in the next video, so I'll let you know how. Okay, thanks a lot for watching. As always, remain intensely curious. Until next time. So long.